MLB had its first ever rivalry weekend. It was fun. It was cool to see some of the matchups. But honestly, they didn't do anything super special to the schedule besides, I guess, putting emphasis on this weekend. Because everybody plays everybody now. We have a balanced schedule. So I don't know that it necessarily got the reaction that MLB wanted. But I will say, like I said, it it was pretty fun having known about it. But I don't know how much the average fan was like, yeah, rivalries. It's not like college football or the NFL, right? Where your rivalries are big and they I don't know. The fact that you only play in those games once or twice a year and now you've got three over a weekend. I don't know. It's fine, but I don't know. We'll see how it is going forward. My Mariners are one win away from winning the Better Cup, so there's that. And we'll get there in just a second. But some notable things from the weekend. Juan Soto returned to the Bronx for the first time since signing that massive, massive contract with the Mets. His first at bat, the fans booed him. They rained the boos down from from the seats, and he tipped his helmet to them, and then proceeded to go 1 for 10 on the series. Was loafing on the bases and on the field. This is an interesting state. This is from Bob Clappish from NJ.com. He said Mets hierarchy is concerned about Juan Soto's lack of enthusiasm. Soto agreed to be mic'd up during Sunday's game, which was on ESPN, but changed his mind because he's tired of answering questions about Aaron Judge and why he chose the Mets. He then bailed on reporters after the loss. Now, I don't feel like you have to be super enthusiastic about talking to the media, right? Like, I get it. I always, when I was in college and uh, covering different sports in my school, and then I had the opportunity to go cover a Twins game, which meant that afterwards I got to go to the clubhouse and talk to a few guys. I was I was standing in the scrum. Everybody was talking to Urban Santana, and one guy kind of hijacked the conversation, didn't let anybody else ask any questions. The trade deadline was coming up, so he's asking stuff about that, and he wasn't real thrilled about the line of questioning because it's all about the possibility of getting traded, and so it sucked. Like it was, I was like, man, I've got like one question I want to ask him, and I didn't get to because it's a hijacked situation. But I stuck around and I just said, hey, can I ask you a couple questions? I'm writing a story, all this stuff, and he's really nice and generous. I just asked him about things that he'd been doing to get because his ERA had spiked and he come back down, and so I was asking him about stuff like that, and he was really nice about it. And I said, hey man, I appreciate you sticking around. You didn't have to answer that question. He's like, no, that's cool, like it, no problem, you know. And I was like, that's awesome, but I don't blame any player for not wanting to talk to the media because of experiences like that, where you have one guy who just has a story to write and he's framing his questions the way that he wants to and things like that. So I don't blame Juan Soto for being like, I'm tired of answering questions about Aaron Judge. I don't play with that guy anymore. I play for a different team now. I got Pete Alonso batting behind me now or wherever in the lineup, right? Like, stop asking me about Aaron Judge. So it's interesting though. It's really interesting that the honeymoon seems to be over with Juan Soto in Queens, and I don't think there will be buyer's remorse because he's going to produce, and they'll probably get results to some degree. I don't know if they'll necessarily win a World Series because I don't think they have that good of a team, and by that I mean I don't think they have a World Series winning team, despite their record. Um, but anyway, so that was something interesting this weekend from rivalry weekend with the Mets. The Angels swept the Dodgers. What? This is the first time since 2010 that they have swept the Dodgers, and not just swept them, they swept them at Chavez Ravine in LA. They were not in Anaheim. They outscored the Dodgers 23-15 over 3 games. That's crazy. I did I did not see that coming. Did not have it on my rivalry weekend bingo card. Another thing, to be completely honest with you, I did not have on my rivalry weekend bingo card is the Mariners sweeping the Padres. Outscored them 15-3. The Mariners played probably their best series of the year, and that goes with having swept, what was it, having swept the Rangers, and then also having won 9 series in a row. They have never had a series where they were so complete, front to back, pitching, defense, offense. Now, I will say this. They were 0 for with runners in scoring position, I believe, through game two. No, until late in game two. And then game three, there was everything. Because they were hitting home runs. Was the only way they were scoring for a while there. J.P. Crawford started off the series with a home run. That was exciting. But, man, I was not expecting the Mariners to go down to Petco and dominate the Padres the way they did. The Nats swept the Orioles. We just talked about how the Orioles lost a bunch recently. Well, the Nats swept them, outscored them 24-13, and hung 10 twice on them. Great time for the Nats to to have the Orioles on the schedule because they're not beating anybody right now. And we'll see how long that losing streak continues for the Orioles. The Phillies swept the Pirates. Again, I don't think that's to anybody's surprise. However, another Paul Skeens gem was absolutely wasted on Sunday. He pitched 8 innings, which ended up being a complete game because the Pirates lost and the Phillies were at home. Gave up 1 run on 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Get him some help. It's unbelievable. Brig and I are going to talk more about this when he gets back because I want to have more of a conversation about Paul Skeens and the future with the Pirates with him. But man, it's awful, and I think you see that see the look on his face that he knows he sees the writing on the wall with the situation that he's in, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it at all. Let's see what else. The Reds swept Cleveland's baseball club, outscored them 12-6. I did not see that coming. I assumed Cleveland would get at least 1, if not 2, or the sweep going the other way. I don't know, because I feel like Cleveland is probably the better team in that situation. But that said, I like the Reds. I like the Reds guys. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes in the future. Really interesting that the Reds swept Cleveland. And then again, to no one's surprise, the Cubs swept the White Sox. And then again, the Giants swept the A's. So I want to know what you thought about Rivalry Weekend. I guess for me saying that it wasn't what I think maybe MLB wanted to get out of it, I just spent like 10 minutes talking about it. So maybe it was, I guess. And ended up being everything that MLB wanted.